In this video, I'm going to be addressing the fact or the issues which a lot of international students are still having issues with or problems with or doubts about. Then the issue I'm going to be addressing here is age. I will also be addressing the gap, which is the study gap, and I will also talk about some visa stuff that you need to know when it comes to immigration to Canada as an international student. All right. So if you are joining the channel for the very first time, please do like our video. Welcome to our channel and thank you so much. My name is Milton. If you didn't know, I talk about immigration and everything study abroad opportunities on this YouTube channel. So today, like I said, without wasting more time, let's talk about the issue of age. All right. A lot of people, they have this fear within them that if they are of a certain age, maybe 38, maybe 39, maybe 40, maybe 41, will I be accepted or will they be accepted to study abroad? Of course, the answer is yes, but there are different scenarios I am going to be elaborating more about. All right. So in case you are looking for a school or in case you are looking for a program, in case you are thinking of applying for a visa to Canada, then you should watch this video to the end so that it may help you. Now, there are a lot of different varieties of things I want to say here. Let's start with the issue of age. If you are 30 years, 35, 40 years, maybe 45, then you have the chance to study in Canada. The reason is because most universities or most schools in Canada, I'm going to be putting two scenarios outside here. Most schools in Canada, they do not specify that if you are of a certain age, you cannot study in Canada or in their university. For example, if you want to apply to community colleges, you can apply. Most community colleges don't have it on their website that if you are of a certain age, you shouldn't apply for a program. Same as most universities in Canada, they do not have this restriction as well. But when you now start moving to Europe, you are going to realize that most schools, some schools in Lithuania, Estonia, Norway, they will tell you that if you are of this age or if you are already above this age, you shouldn't apply. Right? Yes, that is to tell you that there are a lot of opportunities and advantages of studying in Canada. Now, let me put it here. Let's assume that you are already 40 years or 39, 40, 41, 42, maybe upwards. Will I apply and a college accept me? Yes, of course, a college can accept you in Canada. Age shouldn't be your problem. The problem here you should be looking at, or the things you should be looking at here, is if the program you are applying to is going to match your age. I'm going to explain that as well very soon. So if you ask me, if you are of a particular age, maybe 40, 41, apply to colleges. Do you know why I say you should apply to colleges? Now, let's assume, remember I told you there are a list of scenarios or varieties of stuff I'm going to be talking about. Let's assume that you have just your high school qualifications, maybe your WAEC certificate, right? Maybe you just left high school and you are already 38, 39, 40 years and you haven't gone to school again. You have just your WAEC certificate. Now, would a college accept you or would a university accept you? Your chances are higher that a college will take you or will accept you faster than a university. Do you know why? Because most colleges, they don't really look into certain things. They don't really consider a lot of factors, and their websites as well do not have extra spaces for you to submit stuff like CV and a statement of purpose or purposes. All right, am I correct? Yes. But most universities will need you to submit something like maybe a CV or a motivation letter. You understand? And most of the time, most universities will need fresh graduates. So they will be assessing the application and looking at those that recently left high school. You understand? So they may not be looking at people who left high school maybe 10 or 5 or 15 years ago. So you stand a chance in community colleges than universities if you are above 38 years old and you left school long time ago. Another thing is that maybe you are applying to a college. Like, for example, I'm talking now based on example because I always go through this website. I have done application to New Brunswick Community College before. I equally did an application yesterday to someone at Niagara College. Do you know what I've noticed on this website? With New Brunswick Community College, they do not have a place for you to upload a CV. And Niagara College, they have a place for you to upload other documents, which means that if you have another document, maybe a statement of purpose, you can submit it. If you have a CV, you can submit it. Now, this brings me back to the point where I want to talk about something. Let's assume that you left college maybe 15 years ago. All right, you have just your YX certificate or NECO, and you do not have a bachelor's degree, but you want to study in Canada. Right now, in this case, I will not advise you to go through the university. I will advise you to go through college because their requirements are not that strengthened. All right, they don't look into certain factors. But however, if you are looking at a college, try to look at a college that is not that competitive, and as well, you may be permitted to submit a CV or a statement of purpose. The reason I am saying that you should look at such colleges is because if you now submit your CV is going to show where you have been after you left school 15 years ago, just having your WAEC. Maybe you've been working with 5 or 6 different companies. Your CV is now going to show that. Maybe if you left school and you were doing some handwork, or maybe you have your own business, you can now explain on a letter of explanation and with this a statement of purpose. Now with that, with the sites for you to let me say upload extra documents, you now scan these documents and upload them inside. It will now help you to get admissions faster in these colleges. I hope you understand. Now, in the case where there is no space for you to upload a CV or a curriculum, or let me say a motivation letter, now, you may consider writing a statement of purpose and equally adding your CV. Then you merge them together. Then you upload them on those particular spots that says upload just your certificate. Now, when the admissions committee will be assessing or looking at your files, they will see that you actually attach your CV and a statement or a motivation letter to your WAEC. Then they will now consider you of being serious. They will now understand that you are serious and you really want to study. In this case, you may just gain an offer letter to study in a college in Canada. But in certain cases, you might still go to the university. All right. It is not a barrier. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to the university, but your chances of getting admissions to universities in Canada, especially when your grades are not that powerful, it's very low because they might be looking at fresh graduates. Of course, if I'm the one to choose as a lecturer, I will choose a fresh graduate over someone who graduated 15 years ago. You can bear me witness with it that it is also reasonable that way. But now, in case you have your YX certificate and you left school maybe 10 years ago and you think that your grades are very powerful, very okay, very good grades, I mean here, now you can still study in a university, right? Remember, I said most universities, you may be going in for a bachelor's programs, or you may want to take maybe an advanced certificate. You can still study in a university. What you are going to do now is, because with most universities, especially state universities, you would be required to submit what we call a statement of purpose, like I explained to you before. All right, and in this case now you have to write a statement of purpose. You now need to explain why you want to study that program, why you have decided to study that program now, and why what you have been doing when you left high school long time ago. You understand? You can link them up, bring in sustainable development goals into the scene. Then you also make them know that there are some challenges that your country is facing, and if they permit you study this course, then you will return back to your home country and of course change 1 or 2 things, and your community would improve, or your country would improve. This way it can just help you get a program into a university. This is in the case when your programs are, let me say, when your grades are very powerful. All right, if your grades are not powerful, guys, I will advise you to take community colleges. Now, to say these things, there is an important part. Like I told you, most schools in Canada and even colleges will not ask for age, or let me say, do not consider age as a problem. But the problem here is you have to convince the visa officer. Remember, you are applying for admissions. Then after admissions, now you need to apply for a visa to Canada, right? you need to convince the admissions officer. You need to convince them that you actually need that visa to go and study in Canada. Because, of course, when they see your file, they are going to be looking at your age. All right. And with your age now, it's only your documentation, the things you show them, that is going to convince them to allow you or to give you a visa to move to Canada. Do you meet all the requirements? That is the first thing. There is no age. The admissions officer is not interested in your age. They want to see, do you meet requirements to actually move to Canada? That is the first thing. And that is why I have always said that please pay attention to your statement of purpose, all right, which is a letter of explanation. Then you pay attention to your proof of funds, and you pay attention to your home ties or family ties. Now, remember, as you are paying attention to all these things, you need to write a very solid letter of explanation, and of course, show a very heavy bank statement, not just showing the bank statement, but attaching necessary documents to the bank statement. I have a lot of videos about this, about the bank statement, how to write letter of explanation, and some things that you need to know depending on your case and who is going to support you and what document they are going to give to you to support your proof of funds to study in Canada. There are videos on this YouTube channel, so please, you may consider checking the channel to watch those videos. You have to do research in order to study abroad. Now, one very important thing, remember I said age is not a problem, but there is something here. One very important thing you have to consider when you want to study in Canada is the course, the choice of course. All right, the course you actually selected. What is the course that you've selected? What did you study in the future? What did you study lastly? All right, like if you left school 15 years ago, what did you do before you left school? Now, what are you doing now? All right, and why are you applying to this program, or what did you apply for? For example, if you are applying for business management or business administration or business and project management right now to study in Canada, that is the very first step. You should be able to tell the visa officer that you have some knowledge of business. You have been into business before. You intend to improve the business sector in your home country. And of course, you have a registered business. This is how you need to put it. Do you know why? Because the visa officer is interested. He wants to know, or he or she wants to know, why you want to study business administration in Canada. Let's assume that you left high school 15 years ago. Now you own your own business. Now you want to maybe improve some other projects in your community back in Nigeria, right? Now you need to explain to them why that program is going to help you to carry out this project in Nigeria when you finish your program and return back home. Remember, return back home should be what you always emphasize to the visa officer on your letter of explanation. Now, you shouldn't, in the case you graduated maybe 8 years ago, let's assume that you left the University of Boya or maybe the University of Lagos with maybe a bachelor's degree in botany. And right now, that was the end of your study program, right? 8 years ago, a bachelor's in botany. And right now, you want to study business administration. There is no correlation, right? And even if there was a correlation, it is still not the best choice for you to take. The best choice for you to take is what you are currently doing at the moment, because you will need to tell the visa officer how that program you want to study is going to help you build a career from here. And again, most of the time when they see that you are already been working for 10 years, maybe as an accountant, and you want to go and start doing early childhood education in Canada, it doesn't make sense. So make sure program choice is very important before you start anything study abroad in Canada. If you have a big age, or maybe if your age is very heavy, and of course you have been out of school for a very long time, I hope you understand. Putting your letter of explanation to top notch, arranging your proof of funds excellently, and of course showing your home ties before you know you would be in Canada. So this is all I have to say in this video. Now, if you are interested to migrate to Canada and you have 3 years bachelor's degree program completed, 2 3 years working experience in any area that you can prove that, then please get to me immediately and we talk. I will give you mentorship on what to do. If you need any other mentorship about study abroad to any country, let me know and we will carry on from there till we meet again in another one.